For years, Garth Brooks was the biggest star country music had ever seen. He sold more albums than Elvis Presley, filled stadiums around the world, and brought a rock and roll energy to a genre that had never seen anything like it. He seemed invincible, the kind of artist who would never fade away. But time has a way of humbling even the greatest legends. Behind the record-breaking success and the image of the perfect family man, cracks were already beginning to form. The fame that made him a household name came with a price few people could see. As his career soared higher than anyone thought possible, the people closest to him were slipping further away. Eventually, the pressure became so overwhelming that he made a decision that stunned the music world. Yet, even that would prove to be only the beginning. Years later, a controversy would emerge that threatened not just his reputation, but the legacy he had spent a lifetime building. At 64 years old, Garth Brooks is facing battles that would leave you shocked. Troyal Garth Brooks was born on February 7, 1962, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and raised as the youngest of 6 children in Yukon, Oklahoma. His mother, Colleen Carroll, was a country singer who had recorded for Capitol Records in the 1950s, and performed on shows like Ozark Jubilee. His father, Troy Raymond Brooks Jr., worked as a draftsman in the oil industry and taught young Garth his first chords. Music was always present in the Brooks household. The family held regular talent nights, and Garth learned guitar and banjo at an early age. His parents' contrasting personalities shaped him profoundly. His mother was the dreamer who believed her children could fly. His father was the realist who reminded him that flying required a hell of a lot of work. That combination of dreaming and discipline would serve him well. Despite the musical atmosphere, Brooks' primary interest as a young man was sports. He excelled in baseball, football, and track during high school, and attended Oklahoma State University on a track scholarship, specializing in javelin. He graduated with an advertising degree in 1984. But while at OSU, he began performing in local clubs with his roommate Ty England, and the response was electric. In 1985, Brooks made his first trip to Nashville. The reality of the industry hit him hard. Overwhelmed by intimidation and immediate rejection, he packed up and drove back to Oklahoma after only 23 hours. The defeat was embarrassing, but it did not break him. He returned home, married his college girlfriend Sandy Mall in 1986, and continued playing the local circuit, waiting for the right moment. That moment came in 1987. Brooks returned to Nashville permanently, determined not to fail again. He was rejected by every major label but kept performing. In 1988, he agreed to play a writer's showcase at the legendary Bluebird Cafe. In the audience was Lynn Schultz, a Capitol Records executive who had previously passed on signing Brooks. He was there to see another artist who never showed up. Instead, he saw Garth Brooks. The next day, Brooks signed with Capitol Records. His self-titled debut album was released in April 1989. It introduced his signature blend of traditional country with arena rock. The album yielded his first #1 hit, If Tomorrow Never Comes, and featured classics like The Dance. His sophomore album, No Fences, released in 1990, changed everything. It spent 23 weeks at #1 and featured his definitive anthem, Friends in Low Places. The Thunder Rolls was also a hit, though its controversial video was banned by Country Music Television and the Nashville Network. The ban only increased interest and solidified Brooks' reputation as a boundary pusher. Brooks revolutionized country music performances by adopting theatrical rock elements. He used wireless headsets to run freely across the stage. He swung from rafters. He smashed guitars. His shows were spectacles, and fans could not get enough. He became the best-selling solo artist in United States history, certified by the RIAA with over 200 million domestic album sales, surpassing Elvis. He remains the only artist to achieve 9 Diamond certified albums for selling over 10 million copies each. He has won 2 Grammys, 17 American Music Awards, and holds the record for 7 CMA Entertainer of the Year awards. But behind the records, Brooks was fighting a different battle. The collapse of his family would test him in ways no stadium show ever could. Brooks met Sandy Mall while working as a bouncer at the Tumbleweed Ballroom in Stillwater. He had to break up a fight in the women's restroom where Mall had gotten her fist stuck in a wall. It was strange, but it was the beginning of something real. They married on May 24, 1986, just before his permanent move to Nashville. She believed in him, and that belief would be tested. Together they had 3 daughters: Taylor Maine Pearl, born in 1992, August Anna in 1994, and Allie Colleen in 1996. But fatherhood could not save the marriage. As Brooks' career exploded, he was away from home up to 300 days a year. Sandy was left isolated to raise their daughters alone. She managed the school drop-offs, the doctor's appointments, and the sleepless nights while her husband was on stage. The emotional disconnect became unbearable. Sandy later stated in the 2019 documentary The Road I'm On that during the peak of his fame, he would come home from tours completely changed. It felt like she was married to a stranger. Brooks has acknowledged that he struggled to remain grounded under the intense adulation. The constant attention created a deep wedge between him and his wife. After a lengthy separation, Brooks filed for divorce in November 2000, citing irreconcilable differences. The divorce was finalized on December 17, 2001. The settlement was staggering. Brooks paid Sandy a reported $125 million, one of the most expensive celebrity divorces in history. Despite the painful split, they maintained a structured co-parenting arrangement, seeing each other daily to keep stability for their daughters. The collapse of his first marriage was devastating, but it was not the only tragedy that would test him. Brooks' mother, Colleen Carroll, died from cancer on August 6, 1999. The loss shattered him and served as the direct catalyst for his retirement from music. He could not imagine performing without her cheering him on. In 2010, his father passed away. His father had been a Marine veteran who taught Garth his work ethic and discipline. The loss stripped Garth of his primary male anchor. In April of 2025, Brooks suffered another heartbreak. His long-term collaborator, Larry Bastian, the mastermind behind Unanswered Prayers and Rodeo, passed away at age 90. Brooks called him a great man, a cowboy, a poet, and a true friend. In February of 2021, Brooks faced the possibility of losing his second wife, Trisha Yearwood, to a severe case of COVID-19. He refused to leave her side, and later admitted he was terrified of losing her. She recovered, but the fear never left him. In 2006, massive wildfires tore through Oklahoma, threatening his family's ranch. The flames came dangerously close to the land that held his history. The ranch survived, but the experience left him shaken. The losses Brooks has endured would have broken a lesser man. However, the legal nightmare awaiting him would test his resilience even further. On September 13, 2024, Brooks filed a preemptive anonymous federal lawsuit in Mississippi under the name John Doe. The filing sought to block a woman from filing a public assault complaint. Brooks asserted that the woman was a former employee attempting to extort millions from him with fabricated stories. He later said it had been like having a deadly weapon waved in his face. On October 3, 2024, the accuser, identified as a former hair and makeup artist for Brooks and Yearwood, filed a 27-page civil lawsuit in California's Superior Court. The lawsuit alleged Brooks assaulted her on multiple occasions, including a 2019 incident in a Los Angeles hotel suite during a Grammy tribute event. She alleged that after they traveled together on his private jet, Brooks arranged for them to stay in the same suite and made unwanted advances. The suit further alleged inappropriate remarks and explicit messages. Legal experts heavily criticized Brooks' preemptive filing as a tactic to unmask the victim or force her into silence. The move caused an intense public relations backlash. In a countermove, Brooks publicly named his accuser, arguing she had wrested the decision from the court by briefing CNN. Her attorneys responded that Brooks had revealed his true self and would move for maximum sanctions. The legal battles continued. On May 1, 2025, U.S. District Judge Henry Wingate declared Brooks's Mississippi preemptive motions moot, allowing the central case to proceed in California. It was a significant setback. On June 10, 2026, a California appellate judge denied Brooks' plea to fast-track an appeal regarding plaintiff anonymity. The decision meant discovery could continue, setting up a grueling trial process. This legal nightmare was not Brooks's first controversy. In 1999, he alienated fans by adopting a fictional emo rock persona named Chris Gaines. He slimmed down, traded his cowboy hat for a soul patch, and practiced falsetto. The project confounded critics and effectively derailed his career. The album sold just 2 million copies, a spectacular bust for an artist who had sold over 95 million records. Today, Brooks refuses to talk about Chris Gaines. In 2014, Brooks attempted to schedule 5 consecutive concerts at Croke Park in Dublin. City officials authorized only 3 of the 5 nights. Brooks issued an ultimatum, insisting on all 5 or none. The result was complete cancellation, leaving 400,000 ticket holders disappointed and costing the local economy an estimated €50 million. The legal nightmare of 2024 to 2026, combined with prior controversies, has cast a shadow over Brooks' legacy. He denies all allegations and maintains his innocence, but the fight is far from over. Even amid the chaos, Brooks continues to live by showing up and working hard. On October 26, 2000, at the height of his power, Brooks announced his total withdrawal from music. The decision was about his daughters. He had realized he was missing their childhoods. He made a promise not to return to full-time touring until his youngest turned 18. During retirement, Brooks lived an unpretentious life in Owasso, Oklahoma. He drove his daughters to school, packed lunches, coached their sports teams, and attended parent-teacher conferences. He was not Garth Brooks, the superstar. He was Dad. Brooks met Trisha Yearwood in 1987 in a songwriter's attic studio. They remained friends during their first marriages. Years later, after both marriages ended, friendship blossomed into love. Brooks proposed on stage at Buck Owens's Crystal Palace. They married on December 10, 2005, and have been inseparable since. The unresolved legal drama has taken a heavy toll. Sources reported in May of 2026 that the situation has turned his personal life into a living hell. The stress is the single most stressful scenario he has ever faced. Early in 2026, Brooks adapted his schedule around Yearwood's solo concert tours. An insider revealed that leaving her behind is tough because she is his anchor. In an attempt to push past the legal cloud, Brooks performed 2 sold-out shows at Milwaukee's Summerfest on June 16 and 17, 2026. For a few hours, he forgot the lawsuits and just entertained. He is also scheduled to headline BST Hyde Park in London on June 27, 2026, his first major performance in mainland England in over 30 years. When not touring, Brooks manages his bar, Friends in Low Places and Honky Tonk on Broadway in Nashville. The venue features a year-round rooftop bar called the Oasis. The ongoing pre-trial discovery makes it difficult for Brooks to fully relax. An insider said he is confident his case will be resolved in his favor, but the dragging process makes it hard. Despite everything, Brooks continues moving forward. He is performing, working, and fighting for his reputation. The man who once retired to raise his daughters is now fighting to protect everything he built. His life at 64 is far from the fairy tale it once seemed. But he is still standing, still singing, and still refusing to give up. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the next video on your screen. Like and subscribe to our channel for more updates.